You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Although Hidden Traps is not officially released until August 1st, you can pre-order your paperback or ebook copy now from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 8687.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same.
Well, good evening, America. It's Thursday. That's right. We've got one more day to the weekend. Come on. I know we can make it. Although, we do have a bit of sad news that I figured we'd open the show with after the introductions. But first, I want to give a triumphant welcome back to my co-host who had to take Tuesday off because of work and then did a stint over as a guest on One Nation Under Foo right here on KLRNradio.com and knocked it out of the park, might I say.
Oh, well, thanks. I had so much fun. It's such a great show. And, of course, I had a great fellow guest with Mo. And, yeah, it was just really fun.
Yeah, you guys actually really sounded like you were having a lot of fun. I was like, dang, now she's going to come back over here and be bored.
No, not at all. But yeah, we could have gone on for another hour.
And honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that I hadn't eaten anything yet, because you wound up putting a replay, I almost offered to let you guys keep going. But I was like, you know what? I need to eat. I'm a fat kid.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, so that was actually the running joke all day, because Bunny kept putting out tweets about how conservative girls were taking over the airwaves. And I'm like, well, not really, because there's still a guy behind the scenes got to push the buttons. And she's like, shut up.
You're still being the puppet master. Dang it.
Pretty much. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it, for the most part, it kind of runs itself unless it's being cranky, because it's something that I've been doing for so long. It's pretty much down to a science, unless the equipment doesn't want to cooperate. But just a bit of sad news to open with. I was actually really, really upset when I saw this today. The lead singer of Linkin Park was actually found dead today. They have ruled it a possible suicide, so I'm not quite sure what's going to happen with that, but I was really, really sad to hear about that. I spent most of the 90s jamming out to Linkin Park, and they were just about to start a tour. Makes me kind of sad.
Yeah, I saw that news too, and it was funny. I'm in a group with some people that were like, oh, wait, okay, so who? Or I only know who they are because of Transformers. And I'm like, oh, that's funny. But yeah, back in the day, I used to rock out to them. So it is really sad. And I think if it is actually a suicide, which it seems like it's pretty clear that it is, it's just so sad, and so many of these celebrities are playing a part all the time. And no one ever really knows what's going on behind the scenes, and everybody thinks things are fine, and it just seems to be a lot of tragic suicides in that crowd.
Yeah, it seems really odd from the outside looking in, doesn't it? I mean, because like Robin Williams was somebody that and I know he had issues. He openly talked about them pretty much anytime he did stand up. He talked about the weird things that he was always fighting with. But it just seems so weird from the outside looking in, because here are these people that are basically living what some of us would consider dreams, and they're entertaining millions of people. They have people that basically adore them, and somehow on the inside there's still just something missing for them, to the point where they literally get to a point where they just feel like they don't have any other option but to take their own life. That always has astounded me, from somebody who is, done things like, performed publicly to sing and a few other things, and now do this on the side, and always think about, what if someday I'm as big as Rush Limbaugh, which everybody knows ain't never going to happen, but, it's still fun to think about. But it's just one of those things. I mean, like even him years ago when he got busted because he was like popping like prescription pain medication like they were M&Ms. it seems so odd to basically have everything that anybody from the outside would be looking at your life going, I would give just about anything to have one day doing what you do and being paid what you get paid. And you realize that it really doesn't matter, because on the inside, they're really no different than you and me. We all have struggles. We all have things that we deal with in our own way. We all have demons that we fight every single day. Whether we're rich, poor, or in between, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're all the same. And that's the part that I think a lot of us miss, because we're so busy watching, and like you said, the persona that they put out, that we don't really know who they are on the inside. That's like if you ever meet one of these radio guys when they're not in front of a microphone or they're not in front of a camera, which I have thanks to CPAC, they are completely different people. It's like a switch goes on as soon as they're in front of a microphone or as soon as they're in front of a camera. And I have the same problem here. If you talk to me away from a microphone, you're going to be like, who is this little mousy guy that I'm talking to? And it's just something weird, because it's like I get in front of a microphone and it's like my entire demeanor changes. And I mean, I have people, especially now that I've been doing this for as long as I've been doing it, that have known me for years, and they will listen to the show because someone else will tell them about the show. And I tell them, don't tell them it's me. If you're going to tell them, don't tell them it's me. And then they will come back to them and be like, dude, I listened to that show. That dude's crazy. And then they're usually texting me, and I'm like, I call them. I'm like, oh, so I hear you're listening to this new show. And they're like, yeah, that dude's nuts. It's like, that dude's me. They're like, hey, don't. Wait, there's no way that's you. I've known you for 20 years. You used to hide in the corner anytime we were at a social gathering. I said, yes, I used to. Now I don't. But it's just one of those things where, again, because we only see one side of them, we don't really see the rest of it. And everybody's guilty of that. We look at what somebody else has or the life that they live, and we think it's so much better than ours, when in reality they're fighting the same things we're fighting. They just may be fighting it in different ways. It was enough to make me really stop and think today, because who hasn't gone to especially in the 90s, gone to a bar when karaoke was popular and put yourself in one of these little contests, which I actually managed to win one of those once, which was kind of cool. But and thought, well, who knows, maybe they'll discover me while I'm singing in this little hole in the wall bar. Yeah, right. It's enough to make you have fun for a few minutes, and then I won like $50 and a bucket of beer, so it was worth it. But anyway, so yeah, it's just always kind of, especially when it's people that not someone that is dying that's elderly or something, and some of these people that we kind of feel like we're a part of our lives and welcomed into our homes, whether it's through movies or music or whatever else, that it just kind of strikes a chord there, So it's interesting that you bring up the elderly dying, because it's a great segue to another little topic. Apparently, Bill Nye, the not so scientific guy, has kind of managed to step in it again. Apparently, in order to save the planet, all the old people have to die first.
Oh.
I take it from your reaction, you hadn't seen that yet?
I haven't seen that. Well, he's an idiot. I mean, and kind of a jerk. So this isn't like super shocking, but the fact that he keeps opening his mouth to say these things is kind of like, maybe keep a lid on that.
Well, the most interesting thing about this is Bill Nye, the not so scientific guy, basically just said that in order to save the planet, all the old people have to go first. You're 61, Bill, you first.
Oh man.
Just saying.
Gosh, is he that old?
Yes.
Wow.
So,
which
it was your idea, Bill.
Makes sense, but
just, take the plunge, brother.
So I'm going to guess he didn't give a get well soon, cancer message to John McCain then.
Yeah, no, he didn't do that. I'm pretty sure he probably did.
He's like, you know what, John? You should just go. Just go ahead and go.
Save Mother Earth, John.
It's good for the planet.
It's okay to leave. It's okay, John. You know, it's interesting that you bring that up, too, because I have been watching so much stupid crap revolving around this. I mean, like, I saw one guy who, like, instantly blocked me, but of course he told me to F off after he blocked me, which I thought was kind of fun, because somebody tried to show it to me, and I was like, well, I never saw that, and they're like, that's probably because he blocked you before he typed it. But, yeah, so anyway, he basically was pointing out, you know, while everybody's giving McCain all these condolences and yada yada, these well wishes, blah blah blah, let's not forget what the 45th said about him. And I'm like, dude, really? You have to? Can we not put politics aside for something like this for 30 seconds and just take a second and say, hey, John McCain, I really hope you make it through this okay, because the dude's fighting cancer. I'm like, you should be ashamed of yourself. And he's like, well, I'm not. F off. And I'm like, well, you should be. Because, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
inevitably, yeah, I saw some stuff pass through about, you know, well, okay, great. You have cancer. That doesn't mean that it erases that you're a completely terrible person. Or, you know, just these ugly comments. And, you know, a lot of them from the side that has all the slogans about love is love and, you know, love trumps hate and all of these things. But here they are being like, well, but you kind of deserve it because I disagree with your politics and I think you're a jerk. And that's just, it's so gross. I'm so sick of that kind of crap. But I really liked, there were a lot of people that said some really nice things. Obama's statement I thought was really well written, really nice. You know, the Bushes put out some stuff talking about, you know, his service and being a hero. And Hillary Clinton even said something nice about it. I mean, we had a lot of people from both sides of the aisle that put out some really nice statements and had some true sentiments for him and his family. And then, of course, his daughter, Meghan McCain, penned just about the most beautiful letter, kind of tribute to her father that I've ever imagined to see, really. So it just sucks when you still see all of these people being complete jerks.
You know, actually, I have been playing on that. There's a hashtag trending, new Democrat slogans. You actually gave me an idea for one, so I put it out there real quick before I forgot. Love trumps hate, unless you're John McCain and you have cancer.
Exactly. I mean, it's just so stupid. I don't know why people have to be that way. And then think it's okay. But then how dare you? How could you have even defended Trump one time? You know, there's such a disconnect, and and I know it happens on both sides. It does. I watch people say ugly things about, you know, Democrats that get sick or have injuries or something like that. So, you know, it happens on both sides, and it's just, I'm getting so sick of it.
Me too, and that's honestly one of the reasons why I have been kind of pointing it out when I see it on both sides, because here's the thing, because I tried to point out this guy, and basically I got told, well, it's Trump's fault because he's the leader and he's the one that's bringing this out on everybody. Because my comment to somebody else because they could still see it because they weren't blocked yet, and they're like, well, you know, it's just one of those things. You can't. Of course, he's going to block you because he can't justify what he just said. And then I was like, well, I understand that he's mad. I get that. But you know, we used to have this thing called decorum, where at least for a few minutes we could set aside political squabbles and come together when something either good or bad was happening. And we don't have the ability to do that anymore, and that's part of what is driving me insane. And then this other guy was like, well, it's Trump's fault. And I'm like, no, we lost decorum a long time before Trump. You can blame Trump for some of this because he's bringing it out, and he's bringing it out in mass. But this was already here. And you know this because of the way people act now towards each other on social media and all of these other... I mean, we literally watch people basically just shoot each other in the streets now because they don't care. Because they dehumanize whatever they don't agree with. And as far as they're concerned, if you don't toe the 100% of their line, you're not a person. And that's part... I mean, and that's honestly part of what has been literally starting to drive me crazy. And it shows during times like this. Because Senator McCain... Now, I said the same thing on Twitter. I have called out Senator McCain multiple times since his 2008 run for things that he's either said or things that he has done. But while I may not always agree with him politically, I hope and pray that he can recover from this. And that's pretty much exactly what I said word for word on Twitter, because that's what you should say in a time like this. Because your political differences don't matter when when you realize that somebody has what could amount to a death sentence. This is not a little bitty cancer. The 5-year survivability rate of the type of cancer that he was just diagnosed with, even in somebody who's not already in their 70s, is like 20, 30, I think 35%.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's just, I mean, wishing death or wishing harm or ill will on anyone that especially has served this country like he has in multiple ways, it is just not a good look. It's just really pretty bad. And I think you're right about saying that it's wrong to place the blame on Trump's feet because there was a lot of ugliness and there was a lot of crap going on before him. However, I do think it's fair to say that when you're talking about really mainstream candidates, especially those running for president, he kind of brought that there. So he might have changed the way like politicians are at a higher level and the things they're willing to say or not say. But he didn't change. He didn't just all of a sudden inspire a bunch of people to be mean. Like you said, this has been evident on social media already. It's been evident just kind of in daily life. I mean, a little bit of that, not giving a crap, no consequences, or even if there are, I don't give a hoot what they are. And I get to say what I want to say, and I'm going to treat you like this because I think I'm right and I think you're wrong, and that's all there is to it. And so, I'm on my high horse and you are scum, and I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to treat you as such. And that has been happening for a long time, and it's been getting increasingly worse. And that was before Trump was running for president. So, yeah, I think it's fair to say that he has maybe exacerbated some of it or maybe justified it to some people, but he's not the cause.
Yeah, no.
Also, I never think anybody like that's the cause, really, because, I mean, come on, you're your own individual people and you're damn adults. Act like it.
Wait, you expect adults to act like adults?
I know.
When did we?
I've been really in.
When did we expect people to actually act like grown-ups? I mean, aren't these the same people that think the president and the first lady are their parents and they should listen to them nonstop constantly?
Yeah, I know. We've become. I mean, the ways in which that we've started to, or excuse behaviors and, ignore responsibility and justify things. It's just getting to like a peak level that I don't know how it's going to sustain. And actually, I think part of the reason that a lot of people, the Democrats, like it that way is because then that makes you more ripe for the taking for the kind of government control that they want. So they're going to encourage that as much as possible.
Yeah, well, I mean, and you're right, they are. But as far as where we are with everything that's going on in the world right now, or especially in this country, I just don't know how we're ever going to get past where we are right now, because I don't see a way to start coming together again. I really don't. I mean, because nobody's willing to do it. We're even starting to see breakdowns at the state and local level because nobody wants to work together because they think if they hold out long enough, the side that fails is going to get the blame and then they can pick up the pieces. It's just they're starting to emulate the Washington behavior in politics everywhere, and I just really am starting to not see a way that we recover, not without making some sort of drastic changes, because none of this makes sense anymore. They don't work together anymore. They do nothing but fight and argue anymore. The only time you ever even see anybody say anything positive about the other side is when something bad happens. I mean, I hate to say this, but after seeing all of the vitriol, I was ultimately surprised this morning and impressed to see Barack Obama put out the little tweet that he put out about John McCain. I was like, you know what? I didn't like your policies. And there were some days that I didn't really like you. but that took class. And I told him as much. Again, not ever expecting him to actually see it or react to it, but I thought it was something that needed to be said. But that's the thing. We don't come together anymore. And as much as it pains me to say this, because he actually is one of the people that inspired me to start doing what I'm doing, I blame Glenn Beck in some ways, because I keep flashing back to an episode that he did right after he left Fox News, or not Fox News, but when he was on CNN, when he was at, I think it was when he was at Fox News. It was after he had left CNN. And he was talking about the fact that at the end of the day, all of these people that pretended to hate each other on camera for ratings would get along just great as soon as the camera went off. And the same thing was going on in D.C. But I'm thinking that's the same thing that should be going on in D.C. When the bell rings, you fight for what you believe in. But at the end of the day, when it's done, you gotta come back together again. And nobody does that anymore. We are constantly in attack mode, no matter what. It doesn't matter who it is, what they say, what they do. If it's not 100% on board with you, you don't want to hear anything about it. And it's just maddening. Because the truth of it is, and I've said this for going on 10 years, and people hate it when I say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. There are about 7 hot button issues that if we could just table those for just a little bit, set those aside for right now, we could come back together and actually fix a lot of what's broken with this country. But any time we get to the chance where anybody's coming back to the table on any of this, the first thing that comes out are those hot button issues. Well, I can't work with this person because they're okay with this, and I can't work with this person because they're okay with that. Can we fight those battles another day, just long enough to fix the crazy mess that we are in, and then we can fight the other battles later? I get it, you don't want to compromise. I'm not asking you to compromise. I'm not telling you to change what you believe. I'm telling you to table those beliefs long enough to fix this mess, because if we don't, we're going to keep arguing till it crumbles. And I don't know how to get anybody's attention with that anymore, because I've been trying for 10 years, and all they want to do is fight, scream, and yell over 7 issues, when honestly right now, yes, every single one of those issues is important. Every single one of those issues matter. But if the country falls apart, nobody's going to be around to fight for them anyway.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot to saying all that. I think one thing that becomes really hard is, we've had 8 years of a leader that didn't ever want to compromise on anything, wanted rollover. He wanted the Republicans to either be beaten outright, or that they always had to come up to him. And if they weren't coming up to whatever it was the Democrats wanted, then it was kind of this whole, they're trying to hurt America and they're trying to hurt all of you routine. And even though he did it in a way that seemed like, oh, he's being wise and eloquent and whatever, when you beat that into heads enough, and when it gets said from the top down enough, chips grow on shoulders. And I know it's gone on even longer than this, but I think one of the reasons why we do have a hard time is that as far as left versus right, is because the right tends to want to, further their beliefs, of course, further their agenda. But they are treated like, you hate America if you won't compromise with us when you're in power. But also, by the way, when we're in power, you hate America if you won't not compromise at all, come up to exactly what it was we wanted. And that is a hard thing for the lawmakers that I know I voted for. Those are some hard things to overcome. And it's ingrained in people's heads kind of now. They're like, oh, well, those bad Republicans won't do what needs to be done. And And I agree with some of it. They don't. But I think the expectations have been absolutely unreasonable and unfair. And so I think you're going to get a lot more attacking and tantrums. And I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg, but it certainly seems to have been a perpetual cycle and an extremely negative one that, like you said, hinders progress and real work. But I think that I think the Democratic side of Congress really took it a step too far under Obama, and I think that's part of pushing us over an edge that I'm not really sure how we get back to, being colleagues working on things for this country.
At this point, I'm not even really sure that we can. I mean, I'm not saying anybody needs to give up. I'm really not sure how we clean up this mess. All right, so we have hit the bottom of the hour, folks. Actually, we're officially a few minutes past the bottom of the hour thanks to the technical issues, but we're going to take the bottom of the hour break right now. This is Jen and Rick. We are live right now on KLRNradio.com, where liberty and reason still reign. We'll be back with you here in just about 4 minutes. Stay tuned.
It starts with one thing, I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind, I designed this rhyme to explain in due time. All I know, time is a valuable thing. Watch it fly by as the pendulum swings. Watch it count down to the end of the day. The clock ticks like waves. So unreal.
Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new you ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
All right, folks, welcome back. We're into the last half of the show, and of course, stay tuned, because right after this one, we'll have America Off the Rails live again right here on KLRNradio.com, where we do a double shot every Tuesday and Thursday night, actually, starting off with Jen and Rick, and then finishing off with yours truly on America Off the Rails. And again, if you hadn't checked it out yet, I want to encourage you to go back and listen to the One Nation Under Food podcast from yesterday. It was a really good show, and I'm not just saying that because my co-host was on there. It actually really was a lot of fun. I know because I was there. I was just muted because I didn't want to. I was afraid if I tried to interject, they were going to be like, "No, this is the woman's show. Get back in the booth where you belong." I'm like, "Okay, fine." But anyway, it was really a good show. They actually
get back behind the curtain.
Yeah, basically. I used to have that bit. I pulled it from the board. I should have lifted up. Pay no attention to that. All right, but anyway, so we got about roughly 20-ish minutes left. I figure we might as well talk about the elephant in the room, or the former football player that is about to be unleashed on Florida. Yeah, fun times. So O.J. Simpson apparently is being paroled. I know this because it's been being talked about in news all day today. Look, I get it. He was once a famous football player. He was an actor. He was a celebrity. But he's 70 freaking years old. Did we have to tie up 8 hours of TV today to talk about the fact that he may or may not get parole for a little 10-minute thing where they basically said, "Hey, guess what? You're getting paroled." Really?
Yeah, it was really something. I saw someone saying, like, man, you know the 90s are making a comeback when you're sitting watching hours of OJ. I understood why. I kind of thought he would be paroled, and part of the reasoning being that, initially the sentence was pretty harsh for what happened, and then, but still, like, it was so weird because he's just still same old, like, selfish, victim OJ. So it kind of surprises me. A lot of times parole boards will want to stick it to you when you're not pretty, like, honest and repent, just in general, making it seem like you're full of remorse and owning what you did and that you're repentant. And so he didn't do that very well. He didn't seem very well prepared, which I don't know if that's his lawyer's fault or if it was on him, but it seemed like he kind of bumbling around and he just kept going on. And I was just thinking, stop talking, just stop talking. You're making this worse. But they decided that they're going to let him out anyway.
I'm just not, he's 70 years old. I mean, the biggest thing that they're looking at is, once you break like 60-something or top 60s, they really you don't have a really high recidivism rate as a criminal. That's one of the things that they're looking at. What surprised me, though, is, when this started becoming news yesterday, there was a little article that started coming out about the fact that they were afraid that he might have managed to screw up his chances at parole, because apparently he was busted by a female corrections officer pulling one of these.
Oh, no more Yankee my winky.
So apparently he's up for discipline. He's up for disciplinary action because he got busted by a female corrections officer doing the whatever you want to call it. And so they were afraid that because the hearing was already set for parole and the disciplinary hearing isn't until like a week from now, that they might have put the parole hearing on hold indefinitely until they determined what was going to happen with the disciplinary hearing. I guess since it was his only real infraction while he had been in there, I guess they probably were going to let it slide. But I don't know. My wife kind of looked at me when I was crazy when I said this, but I'm like, dude, at 70, I'm not. I don't really picture myself doing that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not there yet. And I remember when I was a kid, I thought 44 was going to be really old, and I probably wouldn't be doing things like that anymore. And, my wife and I still are together. So, I don't know. I could, things may change as I get closer to 70. But right now, I just can't really imagine myself, just being like, okay, I got to deal with it now. I just know.
I know, it is really weird, and it's like not what I want to think about O.J. Simpson doing. But I do wonder, because they're saying because of how it all works, he actually won't be released until sometime in October. So he probably will still have the disciplinary hearing and have to deal with whatever those consequences are, even though he's going to be released.
Yeah,
that's just kind of interesting.
Yeah, and you never know. There may be some, because there's all kinds of stipulations that they're putting in there and everything else. So you never know. They may actually come up with something to maybe delay it or make something a little different. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, honestly, the just the way she was kind of describing that he would have limitations and even a minor infraction, yada yada yada. I was like, why don't you just say, like, please don't kill people or commit armed robbery. Let's just go there. Let's just don't kill people or commit armed robbery. Got it, OJ? I wish she would have just said it, because that's basically what it seemed like. That's what we're worried about with him.
Link and I are cruising the mountain, bro, and we figure we's a little juice.
Sorry, I had to. But yeah, I mean, dude.
Oh, but I did think it was weird. The whole thing was weird.
I mean, yeah, and who knows? I mean, it may not turn into anything. I think the weird, going back to what actually happened today, not the story, which still blows my mind. The fact that he, at some point, I read somewhere, and I actually hadn't listened to the whole thing yet, because I was at work, and I was like, you know what, I'm not dealing with O.J. Simpson right now. Besides, I was having fun on Twitter hashtags and all that other stuff when I was on my breaks and stuff, so I really didn't want to pull up O.J. pardoning crap, or paroling crap, or whatever. But I heard somebody put in an article that he said that he never, because, they said that they had charged him with robbery at gunpoint, and he's like, nobody ever accused me of pointing a gun at them.
Yes, and I saw his co-defendant talking, and he was like, well, it's kind of true, because mostly this other guy handled the gun. But no, dude, like, that's part of what this whole thing was. So, I mean, honestly, I don't know how it all went down. Apparently, like, this co-defendant who's already out was saying, they were drinking, and he was drunk like all day, that OJ was, and had asked somebody to get him some heat to go deal with this situation. And so I don't really know, but but come on, dude, don't just like lie.
It's just, well, I mean, honestly, he didn't even mention the gun. He said that nobody has ever accused him of pointing a weapon at them before. And I'm just thinking, your wife's kind of not here to comment about that, is she?
You know that you were tried for murder, correct?
Was there or was there not a weapon involved in this murder that everybody knows that you basically got away with? Oh, I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? My bad.
Oh my gosh. That was... Oh man. I mean, that took me back like a long way.
What were you, like 4? No, I'm just playing.
Well, I was in middle school. Yeah.
I had graduated high school by then. I really do not like you right now. But yeah,
I was in middle school, and I used to go to my math teacher's lunch room for lunch every single day because she'd have it on the TV, and we'd watch the trial. And then I had her class right after lunch, so sometimes even in her class, she would give us like, like classwork to do, and just have the TV on with the trial on. And so I remember when the verdict came down, and the reactions were at my school were mixed, and it was just a very interesting time. I couldn't believe it. The basketball teacher went running through the halls and with some of the black students, and
know that this is the guy that you should depend on to be like, he deserves justice. I think there are a lot of other people that you could say that about, but just interesting.
Yeah. No, I mean, all of it's crazy to me. I remember, I remember that. I also remember because I was listening to a little bit from one of the local guys on the way home, and he was talking about the number of people that were actually watching that stuff happen live, and it was like 90 million people that had watched that mess, and I'm just sitting there going, really? I mean, 90 million.
I know, it was crazy. It was like, I mean, it was basically the beginning of court TV and some of that kind of 24-hour coverage that include, but that for actual trials and for some of those big type things. I mean, it's so weird, but that's how it kind of all came about. It contributed to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, all of it pretty much just seems weird to me to think about the fact that, I mean, you can't get, like 96 million people to watch anything anymore. Now, granted, there's like a million.
Anything.
There's like a million TV channels now and a million different alternatives to TV and all these different ways to watch TV. So, I mean, everybody's ratings have gone to pot. Well, especially CNN's. Apparently, I saw an article the other day that Nick at Night is currently beating CNN, which I thought was funny.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I mean, whatever. Lucy and Golden Girls far outshine see anything happening on CNN. Just saying.
Well,
I wish they'd bring back I Drink with Jimmy.
What's even worse, though, is apparently MSNBC is losing to Cartoon Network.
Wait, what?
It was a joke.
Oh, I for some reason I was thinking Cartoon Network. Okay, gotcha.
Anyway, but yeah, so see, that's what happens when you try to have a joke with a millennial. It's like, what the hell's Cartoon
Well,
Network?
no, it's cutting out a little bit. So I heard like a network, and I was like, oh, what? I didn't hear what it was.
I was wondering if that was happening on your end too. I don't know what's going on because everything's in the green, but for some reason, every so often.
I know yeah, mine too, but I'm just getting a little bit of breakup here or there. But mostly it hasn't affected anything. But that one particular line was completely cut out, and I was going, I don't even know what you said.
Blame the technical difficulties on the fact that you had no idea what I was talking about. No, that's all right. I do that all the time at work. Hey, give me a second. My computer's acting crazy. Translation, I couldn't hear a word you just said because you're chewing in my ear.
Oh, that's the worst.
As someone who has done phone-related work now in both agent and supervisory capacity now for going on 7 years, I have to say that is like my worst pet peeve ever. I understand we're all busy. We all have things that we need to do. But don't call me while you're eating your sandwich. Or even worse, a bag of chips.
I am not a fan of that. I am not a fan. I don't really want to be, I mean, I don't particularly care to see or hear people eat as it is, much less in my ear, like amplified through the phone. Hey, I was going to say something real quick though. Did you see the latest about Lena Dunham?
No, I have not actually. I don't think.
Well, she may have found the most perfect show for her ever. She is joining American Horror Story.
Seriously?
She is. She's joining season 7 of American Horror Story, which I think she is an American Horror Story. So I think that's perfect. Hopefully they kill her. I mean, what?
I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
That does seem like a really interesting fit.
On screen, people, on screen. I hope they kill her on screen.
I was going to say, you might want to clarify. Somebody's going to be like, oh my God, a KLR radio show host said that they all three of them died.
I hope her character dies. I'm just playing. But I found that really interesting. It flashed across my screen earlier, and I went, American Horror Story, huh? All right.
They should just
perfect fit.
They should just drop the O and the R and add a W and an E. Oh wait, did I say that out loud? My bad. All right, so one last quick topic before we get out of here. Apparently, Trump is a little mad at Sessions, and is now saying that if he had known that he was going to recuse himself, he never would have appointed him as Attorney General.
Yeah, I was seeing some of that, and I'm going, wait, what? This doesn't really make any sense.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, because up until now, they haven't really found anything. It's been this basically, media spin, taking every little thing out of context to try to make it bigger than it is. So then Trump, in an interview, sits down with somebody and says, well, if I'd have known what I know now, I wouldn't have even appointed Sessions, and because I didn't know he was going to recuse himself. Oh, and by the way, Mueller better stay away from our businesses because that doesn't have anything to do with the scope of his investigation. Why the hell would you even say that? Because guess what Mueller's doing now? Looking into the Trump businesses because you said something. Because now you've given him an in, which is what's driving me crazy right now about all these people on social media, because I've just started seeing it blow up while we were doing the show, that Mueller's now looking into Trump businesses and blah, 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 blah. Well, he can't do that. It's outside of the scope of the investigation. It wasn't as soon as Trump opened his mouth. That's the problem. He doesn't know when to shut up.
Yeah, so, he's like one of these people that thinks that he should... he kind of gets going on something, and some people do it very innocently. I think Trump does it like he just can't help himself, and he starts to get to where he's like kind of like bragging and he's beating his chest a little bit. So then he says too much. And this is one of those things, like he just had to open the can of worms about his businesses. And the thing with Sessions is just weird because it's like, well, I mean, if he was at all engaged in your campaign and the whole investigation is about your campaign, then we kind of need, I mean, that is a no-brainer that he is going to recuse. I mean, most any attorney worth his salt would do that. So I think it's just more big mouth blabbing on and on by Trump, and it'll blow over and they'll be best friends again later.
Well, yeah, I mean, Trump has already come out and said he has no intentions of replacing Sessions. He was just basically saying that if he, knowing what he knows now, he probably wouldn't have appointed him. The other problem with that is twofold. One, is there honestly a problem here and we just haven't found it yet? Because otherwise, why would you be concerned that Sessions recused himself? Two, are you honestly saying that you don't want an attorney general that would be able to remain impartial? Because Sessions recused himself because he was involved in the campaign and was required to recuse himself. And now I see all of these Republicans are, well, he should have never recused himself in the first place. If a sitting Democratic president had an attorney general who was involved in the campaign and this kind of stuff came out and they didn't recuse themselves, we would be the ones with the pitchforks and the torches right now.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, I don't like to be a hypocrite, and I like consistency, and I try to stand by my, and I think that's exactly right. So this is how it needed to go down. And it's just too bad that Trump doesn't have the, ability to hold his tongue about those kinds of things.
Well, I mean, the other interesting thing is I thought Trump was the guy that said he was only going to bring the best people to the table. How many replacements has he had so far?
Yeah, the best people, just like he already, like during his campaign, he was replacing people left and right there too. And a lot of it because they were acting like idiots. So I never trusted that for a second.
Well, I mean, I will honestly say I don't think most of them were acting. Idiots, yes. Acting, no. All right, on that note, we are officially out of time. Why don't you remind folks where they can hang out with you when you're not on the radio hanging out with me?
Yep, you can find me on Twitter at jholmstead, Facebook JR Homestead, and over at misfitspolitics.com. Join us for Misfit Mischief tomorrow night from about 7:30. Well, I guess it's about 8:30 Eastern until after midnight. So stop on by.
All right, and I, of course, am Rick Robinson. You can follow along on Twitter at AOTR_host or shoot me an email at rick@klrnradio.com, and I'll be back with you here in about 5 minutes or so. Got to reset some stuff, get things fired back up. We'll continue the discussion on America Off the Rails. We'll be talking about some of the same topics, just a slightly different angle, and we'll be back here in just a couple minutes. So we will see you when, well, for those of you that listen to Jen and Rick and then don't listen to my show, that's fine, but I guess we'll see you next week. For those of you that are going to stick around, we'll see you in a minute. Take care, folks.
Must do the same.